Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back. Today's DAF is GITTEN Samach Daled. We are at the Mishnah on Samach Gimel Amud Beis, 2 lines from the bottom. Ha'isha she'amra, hiskabel ligiti. An Isha turns to a Shaliach. Please, be my Shliach lekabbalah, please receive the get on my behalf. In order for this to work and to be verifiable in the long run, 2 pairs of witnesses are required to put this through. We have Reuven and Shimon who are going to testify that in fact this Isha had assigned this shaliach for this task. She said it in front of us. And another 2 Eidim who will say, look, we actually saw the shliach receiving the get from the husband on her behalf and tearing it up. Why did he have to tear it up? The Gemara will explain later. So we need 2 pairs of Eidim. 1 pair to testify that she had authorized this shliach to act on her behalf, and the 2nd pair of Eidim who saw the nesina saget. Afilu hein harishonim v'hein ha'achronim. You can use the same Reuven and Shimon for both tasks. They can testify about this and testify about that as well. Oy echad min harishonim ve'echad min ha'achronim ve'echad mitztaref imohen. Or alternatively, you can have Reuven testifying about the first part, Shimon testifying about the second part, and you have Levi who's joining Reuven on the first section and joining Shimon on the second part. It's a chiddush because, it's easier to pay off 1 aid. So perhaps we should be concerned that, this aid is not real, but there's no concern. Either way, either configuration works as long as we have testimony on both accounts, on the instructions and on the receiving of the get. Itmar we have learned. Baal oimer lepikoden. Ushlish oimer legerushin. Here's an interesting shaila. We have a fellow who considers himself a shlish. Shlish means lashon of shalish, a third party, uninvolved party. So he's serving as an intermediary between the Baal and the Isha. And he has a get in his hands. And he says, look, I received the get from the husband. You know why? Because I was a shliach lekabbalah, and as soon as I got it, she's divorced. Husband disagrees. Baal oimer lepikoden. I gave it to him just, for safekeeping. I did not intend to use it as a divorce at this point. Baal oimer lepikoden, ushlish oimer legerushin, mi neman. What do we do? Who do we trust? Who do we believe? Machlekes. Rav Huna Amar, Baal neman. The husband is believed. It's only a pikadon, and we can't take it further. Rav Chizda Amar shlish neman. No, the shlish is trusted. Why? Explains the Gemara. Rav Huna Amar Baal neman. We trust the husband. Dim isel de legerushin yahavei. We're speaking that the husband and wife are residing in the same town. So if in fact he meant it for divorce, if he gave it to him for divorce purposes, why did he need a third party? He would have given it to the Isha directly, without this, go-between. Evidently, he was just depositing it by him for safekeeping. We trust the shlish. The Chassam Sofer, by the way, has 2 ways to explain the word shalish. Either it's a lashon of shalish, third party, or v'shalishim al kulei, the pasuk says, leaders, in control. So he's sort of been put in control of this item. He's been entrusted with this item. And that's exactly what Rav Chizda says. Rav Chizda mashlish neman, you know why he's believed? Even against the husband. Because the husband entrusted him. He gave him the item. He put it in his possession, in his control. He has a say in the matter. Masiv Rav Ab, here comes a kasha. The Brisa says, Hadas Baldin, Kimeya Idim Dami. So if one of the Bali Dinim, one of the litigants, admits, to his opponent, We take it as fact. We trust him like 100 Eidim. Right? You can admit, you can be Moide. Ushlish nemun mishneim. And you know has more belief than the Bali Dinim, the Shlish, the third party. Ketzad, how exactly does this work? Ze'omer kach, v'ze'omer kach. You have Reuven and Shimon. Reuven says, well, it's this, and Shimon says it's that. Shlish neman. We trust the Shlish. Right? So, let's say you have Reuven and Shimon. And Reuven claims that he gave the money and to the Shlish, to Levi, for safekeeping. And the other fellow Shimon disagrees. He says, it was meant for me. Who's believed? The Shlish. His word is final. Okay, so we see the Shlish is to be trusted. And that's a kasha on Rav Huna, who says that in our case of the get, we trust the husband over the shalish. Answers the Gemara, big difference between monetary matters and a get. Big difference. Shani mamay. Monetary matters are so different than get. You can forgive, you can forego your monetary claim, and therefore, explains Rashi, the shalish is trusted. Because since the fellow gave him the money, entrusted him with the money, so basically he, at that point, forfeited any claims. I'm willing to accept your word, to trust what you say, and even if it turns out that you're wrong, that it's incorrect, I gave you that, I empowered you, I authorized you, and since we're dealing with mammon, I can do that. I can be meichel on my mammon and going along with the words of the shalish, as opposed to a get. I can't do that. Either it is or it isn't. It's not up to the husband to decide, or to entrust, or to empower. It's not meant as a get. It doesn't work. And therefore, this is different, says Rav Huna. Now we believe the husband. Asks the Gemara, V'hatani b'chein legittim, of a brayta which says the same concept of believing the shalish applies to a get. Answers the Gemara, Gittei Mammon. We're speaking about monetary documents, which are also sometimes called Gittin. V'hatani b'chein l'shtaris, of a brayta which says not only Gittin, but also shtaris. Now, if we mention Gittin and then also shtaris, apparently shtaris is monetary and Gittin is, the divorce document. And even there we trust the shalish. Midi gabi hadadi tanya, with these two brises, the one that mentions Gittin and the one that mentions shtaris, learn next to each other in the same, beis medrash. In which case, it would indicate that one is a get. Isha? No, maybe they were learned in different locales. And they were both referring to monetary documents. Just referred to in different ways. In this beis medrash, they refer to it as a get. In this beis medrash, as a shtar. But of course, we're speaking about monetary documents, but not gittin. Continues the Gemara, Tanya. Let's go back to the Mishnah. Sorry, Tanakh. Let's go back to the Mishnah. Ha'isha she'amra yiskava le'giti. Right? So our Mishnah speaks about an Isha who appoints a shliach lekabbalah. Tzricha shtei kitei edim. She must have two pairs of edim. Shnayim she'yomru b'fneinu amra. One pair that she instructed the shliach. Shnayim she'yomru b'fneinu kibul v'kara. A second pair who witnessed the handing over of the get to the shliach. V'amai, why do we need edim that the shliach received the get? So Tosfos learns that, of course, the first pair of edim are necessary. She has to appoint the shliach in front of edim. That's a given. Rashi seems to disagree, but for Tosfos, that's not an issue. The issue is the second part. Why do we need edim to verify that the shliach, in fact, received the get from the husband? V'amai lehemne l'shliach. But according to Rav Chizda, a shliach who's really a shalish should be trusted when he says, I got the get from the husband. Why do we need to aid him for that? He's holding it. He's entrusted with it. He's authorized to speak about it. You see, here, he tore it up. Why did they tear it up? We'll see soon. Because they were afraid of the goyim. So he no longer has the get intact. Mikanafik gita mituse yade, is the get being produced is he showing us the get that it should lend to us trusting him? It's torn up. Maybe he found them in the street, discarded waste that somebody left out, and therefore we need Adam. Then in fact he received the get. So typically, if he has something intact, he can speak about it. But if it's not intact, we need Adam to verify. Teinach amra, kibeil lamali. So once again, but I understand why we need the Adam that she instructed him to receive the get. But why do we need Adam the Adam that actually saw him accepting the get? It would be enough, explains Tosfos, if they come and say we saw him holding the get when it was still intact before it was torn. That's enough. You don't have to actually know that it was given to him. He's claiming, and we believe him, as long as we have Adam that saw him holding the get. And a shlish is to be trusted on something in his possession. Amar Rava Hamani Rab Lezahi. The reason is because we're going like Shitas Rab Leza. The Amar Adam Isir Karti. What activates the get? The handing over to the Isha, or in the case of Shliach LaKabbalah, handing over to the Shliach LaKabbalah. And we need Adam for that. That's the way the get gets activated, when Adam witnessed the handing over. And that's why we need the Adam, but not to lend trust to the Shliach. That's not the point. The point is because of the Adam Asira requirement. So bottom line, according to Rav Chizda, a shlish is to be trusted, and he would be believed. Except that we need Adam Asira. Whereas according to Rav Huna, the reason why we need Adam is perhaps because the husband is objecting. I never get. And that's what the Adam are coming to testify about, because otherwise the Shliach would not be believed. So 2 ways to learn our Mishnah. One more question. Why did he tear up the shtar? We're speaking in the time of Gzero, and there were decrees against doing mitzvahs and employing GITTEN. So they quickly gave it and tore it up. And that's why, by the way, the Terumas Hadeshin writes that today, nowadays as well, we continue this practice, even though, Baruch Hashem, the underlying reason doesn't apply, but we just keep the minhag as it was always. Amar Rabba, Umayda Rav Huna, even Rav Huna, who trusts the Baal over the Shalish, would agree, the Amra Ihi. Suppose the Isha gets up and says, wait, did the Amra Lishlish, the Legerishin Yavini Ali? She gets up and says, the Shlish, the third party, told me personally that he received the get from my husband for the sake of Gerushin. Mehemna, she's trusted. Asks the Gemara, what do you mean? How could she be better than him? She's coming from him, and he himself does not have ne'emonos. Midi, how can you suggest the Shalish Gufila Mehemen that the Shalish himself would not be trusted when he claims that he was a recipient of the get l'shem gerushin? You don't believe him. If she's coming in his name and she's going to be trusted, how could that be? Ella, rather, Rabbi Yehuda meant like this. Rabba meant like this. I amr kamoy dedi legerushin yaveni alei mehemna. If she says like this, that she was there when the husband gave the get to the shlish, kamei didi legerushin yaveni alei, he gave it to the shlish on my behalf, in front of me, in my presence. Now she's believed. Why? She has a migu, sense. Migu di boya amra lidida yahave nialei baal. Because if she was being untruthful, she could have pretended, she could have claimed that the husband gave her the get directly, and she would be believed. The halacha is that a Isha is believed if she says, I got divorced from my husband. So in this case, even though she's not actually saying that, she's saying, she's claiming that the shliach got it from the husband, she's believed. If she claims that she witnessed that handing over of the get. Migo, because if she was lying, she could have concocted a better lie, which would have gone over. So therefore we trust her. Here comes a new question. A big chiddush, a case where, even if they're all on the same page, We don't believe them. Baal Amar Legerushin. Husband says, well, I gave it to the shliach to hand it to my wife for gerushin purposes. Ushlish Eimer Gerushin. And the shalish agrees. He says, sure, I got it for the sake of gerushin. I gave it to the isha. And she says, nosanli va'avad. That in fact, the shlish delivered the get to me, and I lost it. Nowhere to be found. So all three parties, husband, wife, and shalish, are in full agreement. What's the halacha? Rabbi Yehuda, we don't believe them. Havadavar shebe'erva. Marriage, divorce, is classified as a davar shebe'erva. Marriage-related issues need two edim. Ve'in davar shebe'erva pachas b'shnayim. Can't conclude with less than two edim. Unless we can prove it and verify it through two edim, we don't believe it. Asks the Gemara, V'amai, what's the issue? Why do we need two edim? V'lehemni l'shlish. Let's believe the shalish, right? Like Rav Chizda said before, we'll believe the shlish, that he received it, that he did his job. And certainly in this case, where there is no objection on account of the husband, the answer is Mika nafik gita mituse yadid lehemni. Is he then producing the get? Is he in possession of the get, which would lend trust to his claim? When the shliach is holding the item, he's trusted on it. He's empowered to claim and to promote his story. But if he's no longer in possession, he's no better than the rest, another guy down the street. What about trusting the husband that his wife is divorced? If the husband claims that he divorced his wife, he's believed. Rashi explains, why would he lie? If he wants, he can divorce her this second. So he's believed. So here as well, why isn't he believed? The answer is, Mika Amar Gerashti. Is he then claiming to have divorced his wife? He didn't say he divorced her. He said he gave the get to the shalish. But we have no idea. Right? We have no idea if he actually delivered the get successfully. So, sure, we trust the husband, but he's only claiming that he gave it to the shlish, and we believe him that he gave it to the shlish. But what happened past that, we don't know. Says the Gemara, but you always have an assumption that the shliach carries out his mission and fulfills his shlichus. Let's assume he handed the get to the isha. We have a precedent to this idea. Reuven tells Shimon his shliach, you know what? Say v'kadosh le'isha stam. Please be mekadosh for me and isha. And he didn't explain to him. He didn't specify. He didn't name the isha. Anybody. Umeis shluchay, and Shimon the shliach, who allegedly carried out his mission, we hope, we assume, passed away. Now Reuven is stuck. He has no idea who his wife is and who the relative of his wife is. Also, he can't marry anybody out there. Maybe she's a relative of his wife. We can't say, well, maybe a shliach never did the kedushin. The chazaka that he does is shlichus. So the same in our case. Answers the Gemara, no. In that case, certainly, we have to be concerned that he completed his mission. I was mekadosh somebody, because it's a chumrah that you're regenerating. It's going to make a Reuven be usher on anybody. That's a chumrah. But in our case, we're employing the idea of chazaka, shliach, oisesh lechusay, generates a kula, makes her, considers her divorced. Who's to say it happened? We're concerned that perhaps the shliach never got around to delivering the get. Asks the Gemara, what about the famous Rav Hamnuna? Why can't we trust the Isha based on Rav Hamnuna, who says that if an Isha claims, you divorced me, we believe her. It's a known fact that an Isha has no guts to go and be so brazen to purport that he divorced her when he didn't. So here she's claiming she was divorced. Trust her. Answers the Gemara is a big difference. When do we employ that chazaka? There's nobody helping her, nobody on her side. The fact that she gets up and announces with confidence, "You divorced me," it must be true. As opposed to our case, where she's getting help all around. Husband is helping her and supporting her story. The shlish is helping her. She has two people on her side, me'iza, perhaps. In this case, she'll bring herself to claim this type of claim, even though it perhaps isn't true. Therefore, you can't trust her. So I have an interesting situation. Husband claims he handed over the get. Shlish claims he handed over the get. Isha claims she received the get, but the get is gone. We don't treat her as divorced. Because who should we believe? The husband, who's generally believed to say he divorced his wife, but that's when he claims he divorced her. But here he's just claiming that he handed the get to the shlish. We have no idea what happened. Well, the shlish is not to be trusted. He's no better than the next guy in the street. The whole point of the shlish is because he's holding on to the item. He's been entrusted with this item, but if it's out of his hands, he has no say in the matter. The Isha as well has no ne'emanos, because there are two people on her side, and perhaps she's just making up the story. Says the Mishnah, Nara hamurasa, hiva avia, mekablan as gittin. So you all know that a father has the ability to be Makadesh's daughter, and also receive a get on behalf of his daughter when she's a ktana. Right? So the ktana herself can receive her get, and so could the father receive it on her behalf. Question: what happens when she turns na'ara? When she turns 12 years old. So until she's a beigeris, a super adult, 12 and a half years old, in which case she leaves her father's jurisdiction, until she's 12 and a half, when she's still in the na'ara state, between 12 and 12 and a half, her father still has a say in her matter. Can mekadesh her. And if there's a point in terminating that marriage, he can be makabel get on her behalf. So the Tanakama says that basically there are two players here. The Isha herself, the Nara, can be makabel her get, and so could her father. Nara hamuras, an engaged Nara, whether she was married and she totally leaves his jurisdiction. She was a Nara, but only engaged. Now it's time for divorce. Either she herself, via, or her father, Mekablan as Gitta, can accept a get on her behalf and affect her divorce. That's Tanakam. Or Rabbi Yehuda, no. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. You can't have two, cooks spoiling the soup. You can't have two people, her and her father, doing the same job. Ella avia Mekabel as Gitta b'lavad. The Torah gave her father the ability to Mekabel get on her behalf. She's not a player right now. Now, what's the minimum age for divorce? Whether she gets to get her father, that's one issue. But what's the youngest you can divorce an Isha? She has no ability to look after her get, to care for that important document. I mean, she has no appreciation for the process. You can't divorce her. She doesn't appreciate the process. She won't realize she'll just come running back to the same husband, and that's not called gerush. But Ma'ika Miflaki, so how do we explain the machloikis between Tanakama, who says the Isha and her father can accept a get, as opposed to Rabbi Yehuda, who says it's strictly the father's privilege? What's the machloikis about? Ma'ika Miflaki, Rabbanon Savri, Rabbanon hold, Yoda Yisei Rasa, Zochel Rachmana. That although when she's the father was granted that privilege by the Torah. The Torah added another yad, another player here. Aside from the Isha receiving her get, the Torah enables the father as well. So it's an added, bonus, so to speak. But it doesn't negate her ability to accept her own get. That's the Tanakama's sheet. Rabbi Yehuda Savar, no. It's one or the other. Either father is in control or she's in control. When there's a father around who wasn't able to participate and control events, he's a sole driver. Her yad is worthless. You can't have, two people driving the same car. If a katana is one that appreciates her get, and she can look after it, and she's old enough to be divorced. But if she has no ability to, care for her documents, she cannot get divorced. So let's take a look at the Rashi here, about 7-8 lines from the top. What's wrong with this girl who can't look after her get? The pasuk says, the point of gerushin is to divorce her, to send her away permanently, without her boomeranging and coming back, right? As opposed to this young girl who apparently has no appreciation for the process, no idea what's going on. You send her and she comes right back. Hilkach says Rashi Achidush. So even if her father accepts the get on her behalf, it doesn't matter. The point is, she has no appreciation for the process. She has no respect for the divorce procedure. You send her away, she comes right back. That's a sign of immaturity and unsuitability for the divorce process. Taisus actually disagrees. He says if the father would be involved, then there wouldn't be an issue of an age, because he would look after her and be shomer or milachser, hold her back from coming back to the husband. Okay, continues the Brisa. How do we determine whether she's fit for gerushin or not? How do we know? How do we determine whether she can be shomer at the get? As soon as we see that she's guarding her get with another item. Now, what does this mean? Maika Amar, what do you mean to say? Amar Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, he meant like this. We're speaking that she's old enough that suppose, you gave her the get and she misplaced it, she'll grab another document and sort of substitute it for the get and hold on to it as if it was the get. So you see that she has an appreciation for these documents. He has a kash on this. She's being totally strange now. If she's grabbing another piece of paper and pretending that it's the get, that's not a sign of maturity or intelligence. If anything, the opposite. He meant like this. Exactly. If she has the ability to discern the difference between a get that she's receiving and just another, document, another receipt on the side. She knows the difference. She appreciates the difference. She realizes a get is something serious. A get is what affects her divorce. And she will not exchange. She will not, mix things up. That level of knowledge and intelligence is required for her to be divorced. She appreciates the process. She takes it seriously. Then, when you'll send her off, she'll know not to come back. She'll understand that her status changed. Okay, on this topic of underage kinyanim, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Asi Tzroyer v'Zerkai. Suppose you have a child who's old enough that if you give him a pebble, a tzroyer, he throws it away. V'Zerkai, he realizes it's just a stone. But when you give him an egois, you give him a nut, piece of nash, but he takes it, he keeps it. That's an indication of intelligence, at least on a minimum level. So in this case, the Chachamim enabled him to be zoich for himself. And Taisus actually learns that it's minat Torah. When somebody gives him something, he can be zoich minat Torah and it becomes his. But he cannot use this child as a means of transferring something to somebody else. So typically, when you go over to a gadol and you say, "Look, pick this thing up for my friend," it works. He becomes like a shliach. He's zoich el achirim. But this child is all about himself. He has no appreciation anybody else around him, no interest in anybody except for himself and his own personal needs. So this level of intelligence allows him to be zeicha for himself. And that's it. But once he's holding it further in his intelligence, so if you give him an item, he understands that it's not just about himself, it's your item, and he's willing to return it to you, a couple of minutes later. Then you see that his horizons have broadened a bit, and we expand his ability in terms of being zeicha bein la'atzmai, bein la'acherim. At this point, he can be zeicha for himself, or he can also be used as a catalyst to transfer things to other people. So that was Rabbi Yehuda's halacha in the name of Rav Asi. Kamrisa Kamed Shmuel. We know that Rabbi Yehuda was also a Talmud of Shmuel, and when he presented this halacha to Shmuel, basic intelligence allows zechiyah. More advanced intelligence allows him to be zeicha for others as well. Shmuel disagreed. Amrli, he told me, Dovada achasi. Both levels of intelligence have the same exact halachic meaning. My Dovada achasi. What do he mean? Both levels have the same significance. He didn't differentiate whether it's this kid or that kid. At the most, he can be zeicha for himself, but cannot be used to be zeicha for others. Masiv Rav Chinen of Ardon, he had a kasha on this chumrah. We have a mishnah in Erev and Ketzad Mishtatvim b'mavoi. So this fellow is trying to make a sheet of mavois, combine all the chatzeros, the courtyards, which are situated around an alleyway. So to enable them to carry within the alleyway, they have to sort of all join together, become one happy family. How do you do that? By collecting some wine from all the residents. So we have a generous balabayas who wants to take his barrel of wine and use it for the sheet of mavois for everybody. Problem is, he has to be mezaka, it has to belong to everybody. He can do that through zechiyah. Ketan mishtafim b'mavi, maniachas achavis. So the wine owner sets aside a barrel of wine, and he declares, Harizul l'chol bnei hamavi, this is meant for all the bnei hamavi. Umezakalem, how does he actually grant it to them? With a kinyan, using his son or daughter, who happen to be adults, who can now make a kinyan on the barrel on behalf of all the residents of the area. Or he can use his Jewish slave or maidservant to be mazaka the sheet of mavois. Now, the question is, how old is this shivcha? If she had already exhibited her pubic hairs, meaning she already exhibited adulthood, my boy Gabe, what's she doing by him? We know that a Jewish shivcha leaves as soon as she turns a gdoila. He has no business being by him. Apparently, she's still underage. She's a ktana, and the Mishnah clearly allows her to be used as a catalyst to transfer this wine to the other members. That's a kasha on Shmuel, who says that in all cases a katan can't do that. Answers the Gemara, but here it's different. Shani shtufim avois the Rabbanon. The whole idea is only the Rabbanon. Minatori, you can carry from your courtyard to the mavi. The Rabbanon were concerned that it might be confused with, the Rosh Hashanah to the Rosh Hashanah, so they instituted this system of shitufim avois. The whole thing is only with the Rabbanon. So we are mekel. We are lenient when we allow even a ketana to put it through. As opposed to a kinyan min ha-Torah, well, certainly Shmuel can be right that any katan can't be mazake l'acherim. Amar Rav Chizda, so Rav Chizda responded to this back and forth. Ishtik Vardon. He called Rav Chinna Vardon, came from Vardina. Vardina was a location. So the Vardon, Rav Chinna was stumped. Why was he stumped? Meaning, he was asked a question and... he had asked the question. And this response, this differentiation, this point that you can't compare Shita Mavois because only the Rabbanan sort of stumped him. Asked the Gemara, what do you mean he was stumped? What could he have said? My Havalila Meimer, how could he have responded? He could have said something like this. Called the Tikkun Rabbanan, Ke'in the Rasa Tikkun. True, it's only the Rabbanan, but typically the Rabbanan, when they establish their Takanis, it's modeled, it mirrors the Deraisa system. And the fact that the Rabbanan allowed this Ketana to serve as a catalyst for Zikui by Shita Mavois is perhaps, yes, an indication that she can do the same by Kinyanim Min ha-Torah. So he could have answered that. V'idach, well, why didn't he answer it? Ki amrinon kol the tikkun rabbanon kein deraisa tikkun. When do we say that the dinim that the rabbanon introduce and establish are typically mirrored after the dinim deraisa? Most of the islay ikum. That typically applies to something which, although in its current form is midrabanan, but it's rooted, it's sourced, it's based on a concept that's found in the Torah. Marshall, I'll give you an example. Let's say achilas matzah. There is a shita in Marim Sachim that it's only midrabanan bizman hazeh, but true midrabanan bizman hazeh. But way back when, the concept is certainly min Torah. So in those instances, we say that certainly the Rabbanan would model the Eraisa format. And you can bring a raya from the Rabbanan, how they would treat the Eraisa as well. So if the katan can be zeicha by the shitov, that would indicate that he's okay for the Eraisa. Yeah. But Aval Musa, the less la ikam na Torah loy, but Bashitim Avoy specifically, which has no basis in the Torah. It's not rooted in the Torah. There's no source in the Torah for it whatsoever. Even the concept is something they introduced. So therefore, it makes very much sense that they would allow a katan to be involved, even in a way that he would not be allowed to be involved by a deraisa. And therefore, you have no correlation. There's no raya from shitim avois, which is strictly in the rabbanon, in concept and in practice. So although over there a katan is allowed to do the kinyan, but perhaps by an ordinary kinyan he would not be allowed. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. We had a machlekes regarding a shalish. So if he's being opposed by the Baal says, well, I gave you the get only for pekadan purposes. Shalish says, what do you mean? I'm a shleich l'kabola. She's divorced. Who's to be trusted? Rav Huna says, the husband. And Rashi explains they were living in the same city. Why would I give it to you? If I was trying to divorce her, I would give it to her directly. Rav Chizah says, no, Shalish is believed because Heine, husband empowered him, entrusted him with the get. That means it's all about his word. Now the Mishnah mentions the fact that the Isha has to appoint the Shliach LaKabbalah with Edom, and there need to be Edom that he received the get as well. Why do we need that second pair of Edom? The shlish is to be trusted. So according to Rav Huna, it's a very simple thing, because he's not going to be trusted against the husband's word, so we have to have Edom. Then in fact he received it for Gerushin. According to Rav Chizah, it's a problem because the shliach is Naaman. And the answer was because we're going like Reb Lezer Edom Asira Karti, which requires Edom for the actual handover of the get. Even Rav Huna, who says the shlish is not Naaman, when there's a discrepancy between the husband and the shlish's, account of events. But if the Isha says clearly, I saw the get being handed over to the shliach for Gerushin, she's believed migu, because she could have said it was given directly to me. We have a case where nobody's believed. The Baal, the shlish, and the Isha. That's in a case where the get went missing, and we have no reason to believe anybody. We had a machlekes whether the schus of the father to kabbalah the get is on top of her schus, or is it instead of her schus? The minimum age requirement for gerushin in the Isha is somebody who's mafchenes ben gittel davaracha. She appreciates the significance of the get. And Taisus brings, this is like the po'ites we had about a week ago. Those children can do some minor transactions. We spoke about the age. Anywhere between 6 and 10, depending on the level of intelligence and sharpness of the child. Same thing here, has to be evaluated, case by case basis. If she appreciates the process and she takes it seriously. Regarding kinyanim, other than gittin, just plain kinyanim, a child who's mature enough to appreciate what you give him, he can make a kinyan for himself. And according to Rav Yehuda Rav Asi, if he, he sees other people in his world as well, if he appreciates and respects other people's property, he takes it and gives it back to you when you ask for it. So in that case, we expand his horizons and we allow him to be zoicha for others as well, something which Rav Chizah disagreed with. And although we find by Shituf Mavois that certainly underage zikui to others can work, but perhaps that's different because it's the Rabbanon. All the best to you, and Hatzlacha Rabbah.